And now for the big stuff, for the awards and things, you want to go awards first? Or you want to go playoff predictions first?
Let's go with the playoff predictions first.
Yeah, let's do that. I was a little nervous about this one because my list, I am not looking at it every time I look. But we can do that. We're gonna make our changes. It changes in my head so many times. I see teams I forgot or teams I feel like might actually jump ahead. And yeah, it just gets real boggled up there. But yeah, we're gonna make our playoff predictions. And we're gonna go West first, then East, and then we'll kind of compare. So yeah, you want to start with your West 1 through 8?
Okay, so I'm going to start from the bottom up, and I'm starting from the 10 seed because I believe they're going to have the play-in tournament with the 7 through 10. Okay. So in the 10 seed, I got the Pelicans. I think they aren't quite the cream of the crop in the West, not quite in the middle of the pack, but I think they're going to be competitive enough to fight for that playoff contention. Yep. So I got the Pels at 10. I got the Warriors at 9. They caused a conflict for me there. As I was going through, I got through to like 12 teams. I was like, hold on, I don't have the
Warriors. Shit.
And with Steph coming back, with Draymond being healthy, with Wiseman potentially being a big piece for them, with Oubre potentially being a good piece for them, with Wiggins potentially being a good piece for them. I think they're going to be a competitive team.
Lynn just got signed. Don't forget Jeremy.
And Jalen, the GOAT. Lynn Sanity. I think they are still going to be competitive. Clay going down hurts a lot.
Definitely.
So that's why I don't have them higher. But, I mean, it's understandable, I guess, to have them at 9 because they were bottom of the league last year, so it's not crazy to have them there.
Exactly.
In my 8 seed, I got the Mavs. I think some people might have the Mavericks higher, but I don't think their roster got significantly better in the offseason. I think Luka is still amazing, still potentially a top 5 player this season. Yeah. I think I had a little outside of it, maybe 6 or 7. But you have that, and then you have Porzingis, who has struggled to stay fully healthy for full seasons.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to drop some games, and their defense was one of the worst in the league last year as well too. So with some additions like Josh Richardson, maybe they'll be a little bit better defensively on the perimeter, but I don't think they quite make a jump. And actually, I guess this has them going back a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they were like the 6th seed last year.
Yeah.
At my 7th seed, I got the Suns. I think we talked about the Suns earlier, but so I don't have to say too much there, but Chris Paul, I think, changes the complexion of that team. And
definitely.
I think as we talked about before on previous podcasts, I think they're in that 6 to 8 range. I don't think they're in that top 4 range that some people have them projected to be. They're not quite that good, but so I got them at the 7 seed. I got the Blazers at 6. I like a couple of the moves they made. If they get Rodney Hood back from injury, they get Robert Covington. They're adding back Enes Kanter. And getting Nurkic back for a full season as well too. Getting Zach Collins back as well too. So with the fully healthy roster, I think they could be a problem for some teams in the West. Obviously, you have Dame and CJ too, who carry that franchise. So I think they're going to be kind of middle of the pack there as well. They're kind of becoming a sexy pick for some people to say it might be top 3 as well, but I don't quite see that. And then so at my 5 seed, I got the Utah Jazz. Mie Oni led Utah Jazz.
You see it?
I think Donovan Mitchell clearly is an elite talent in this league. Not a huge Rudy Gobert fan, the COVID spreader. But they get Bogdanovich back from injury, who's a key offensive piece for them and who they didn't have last year and maybe would have went farther in the playoffs had they had him. Mike Conley hopefully isn't washed like he kind of appeared to be last year at points.
It might be.
Maybe. Hopefully he can be serviceable for them this year. Well, Jordan Clarkson I like a lot. They made the trade for him midway through the season last year, and he was a good guy off the bench for them. So, yeah, I think they're still in that middle of the pack range in the West. The 4 seed, I got the Rockets. As I spoke about them earlier, I think regardless if they trade Harden or not, they have a lot of offensive firepower.
Yep.
And teams are going to struggle to shut down all three, whoever the three are for them. So I think the Rockets are going to be up there high in the West. At 3, I got the Clippers. Regardless of losing some pieces like Montrez, their sixth man of the year, and their struggles last year to close as they blew the 3-1 lead against the Nuggets. I still think they're going to be a top 3 team with having that duo of Paul George and Kawhi. You can't discredit their talent, even if it does fall apart in the playoffs for PG.
Right.
They're clearly a very talented team, and as we mentioned, Ibaka I think helps that team a lot. So interested to see what Ty Lue does with them. At 2, I got the Nuggets. As we've talked about before, I still don't see them as that championship team.
That's 2 and not championship team.
Nah, man.
What do they have to do?
I mean, you can be top 2, not a championship team when you got the defending champions above you.
Sure. Contention at least. How you top 2 and not a contender?
Contention, sure, but I don't see them. I don't see them as a championship team. Still,
I got you.
I think they earn more respect from everybody, and including us. This past bubble run with Jamal Murray and Jokic. Jokic is for real solidified top 10 player, and I think they have another great season. They hopefully make a trade of some sort because I think that could maybe help them get over the hump if they get a veteran guy who can score 20 a game as well too, as opposed to having a rotation 12 deep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got them at my number 2 slot, and then I got the Lakers at number 1. I just think the additions they made, I said before, it kind of scares me because like everyone has them number 1, kind of like how everyone had the Clippers number 1 last year. And they do look good on paper.
Very good on paper.
you gotta trust LeBron. AD said,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you do.
I'm sorry. My bad.
I think AD, as I said before, I think is going to be the best player in the league this year. So with that 1-2 punch, it's really hard to beat. And then they brought in guys that can play their role and play it at an exceptional level in Schroeder and Montrez and Marc Gasol. Yeah, I think it's really just going to be about staying healthy, honestly, because I think they have the most talented roster. So, yeah, that's my West.
Yeah. I think ours is damn near identical. I think in basics, I was like, dang, you got all the same. Because we didn't discuss it all prior to. We just loosely, but we didn't share our list with each other. So as you were going through, yeah, we kind of basically had the same thing. 9, I had the Pelicans as well. I really wanted to put the Kings there, but I couldn't do it. I see Lonzo and those guys doing as you said, having a big season and at least get into that little playoff realm, at least in that those bottom 4. So them, and then I have the Warriors there. I think you have them at 9 also. I have them at 9. I have the Suns at 8. I think you said that Suns at 8, right?
The Suns at 7.
Oh, okay. Well, I had Suns at 8. Similar things that you did. I think the Mavs do slightly better than them. Actually, still, but Luka just continue on kind of MVP, close to MVP status.
That's definitely fair.
Yeah. Mavs at 7, Blazers at 6, Jazz at 5, Rockets at 4, and Rockets stay at 4 because even if they trade James Harden, they're going to get, if they get Ben Simmons back,
exactly
right there, it's like nothing really changes. So yeah, I think they're still going to be top 4. Then Nuggets actually at 3. Clippers at 2 because I feel like the Clippers wake up. They actually practice together this year.
Okay.
Have some positives together and get a 2 spot, and then Lakers at 1. So yeah, pretty much the same thing. A slight couple switches in there, but for the most part, our 1 through 10 is identical. So yeah, when the whole world kind of has the same predictions, because I actually kind of peeked at other people's as well before after I made mine, and it was kind of the same thing for them also. And when that's the case, I feel like last year, I feel like everybody had the same prediction and then went completely left in a few areas. So this might be the same thing. I can't really figure out where that would be, but for now, this is how we see it going. At least in the West. So I think it's going to get a little bit more tricky on the East side. So how you see it going in the East?
Yeah. Oh, real quick on the West too. I guess the team to watch would be the Grizzlies too, because they were on the cusp of the playoffs last year. I have them at 11, just because I think the Warriors going to get better and the Suns get better, but they might be in that contention between 8 and 10 as well too. So
I think the only reason I will admit I think Jaren Jackson Jr. has been hurt or something like that, or was coming off injury still. So that may get them to a slow start, and when you get a slow start, that gets in a short season already. That may set you back. So they may be not in that. So yeah, I think I remember that off top, but they
got the rookie of the year in Ja Morant. So
Ja looks like he's on a mission still this year also. So yeah, definitely watch out for them.
Yeah. All right, so moving to the East, my 10 seed, I got the Atlanta Hawks. I think they are going to be significantly improved, but they're still very young. They brought in a couple veterans, Gallinari and Bogdanovich, who's still kind of young too. They have Capella, who's a vet as well too, but Trae Young, DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish, Kevin Huerter, Chris Dunn. These are young guys, and I think a lot of guys that play similar positions as well too. Kind of issue that like the Celtics had when they were a little bit younger with all their wing guys and shooting guards that kind of played similar positions. Guys figuring out their roles. It may take a bit to really get in a groove and really start streaking when you want to be towards the playoffs, towards the end of the season. So I think they will be much improved, but I think they're going to be right at the bottom of that play-in tournament. So I got them at the 10 seed. I got the Magic at 9. They've actually made the playoffs the past couple years.
Yeah, they've been a quiet run where it's been like the 8 seed every year, but exactly, still, even though
it's like you kind of forget about them because they don't have anyone who's like a superstar, but they have good players in Vucevic and Aaron Gordon. And they lost Augustine, who played well for them, but they got Markelle Fultz playing better.
He was real good.
So I think they still stay in playoff contention because their roster didn't change significantly. I got them at the 9 seed. I got the Wizards at 8. I think Russ definitely makes them a playoff team, and Russ and Beal next to each other for sure. I got the Pacers at 7, which I think is kind of close to where they were last year.
Right.
They didn't really have a lot of roster turnover. It looked pretty similar to last year's roster.
And that team confuses me because they have a really good roster. And they seem to be playing well, but you also hear about unhappiness amongst guys. Miles Turner wants to maybe get traded. They're thinking about they try to trade him a couple of times, I think, in this short off season. Once out, but then he says he's in, and then has a game. I think in the preseason he just had a real nice game, and he looks like he's on track to have a real nice season. So they look like they should be real good, but it's just making sure they all mesh and then I'm ready to go. So we'll see. But yeah,
I forget if they've hired a new coach yet. I forget who their coach is because they fired Nate McMillan.
Right, I thought they did. I forgot the name, but I think they did.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of quick on the trigger to fire Nate McMillan. I mean, he's getting you to the playoffs. I know they haven't won a playoff series in a while, so that's why I guess they chose to fire him. But he has those guys playing well and usually playing above what it's expected of them. So I was a little surprised by that, and I think the teams I have ahead of them are just a lot more talented. While they do have T.J. Warren, who was Michael Jordan in the bubble, I think they're still going to be kind of the bottom of that.
I thought about adding him into the players to watch because you think he continues that this season. You think there's any more of that Michael Jordan in him still this next year?
It's similar environment to the bubble because there's not going to be fans,
right?
And there's not going to be as much of that outside noise. So maybe he does still thrive like he did, but I don't think it's going to be quite as high.
Of course not. Of course not. Just saying he looks like he's a real good piece there. So we'll see. I think he finally found his spot in that team. So I think it worked out very well.
Yeah. 6, I got the Raptors. They were the 2 seed last year, and I got them dropping a few spots here to 6, I think. And that's because of Ibaka leaving and Marc Gasol leaving. And they didn't really bring in the marquee guy to bolster that roster. They still have Kyle Lowry and they still have Pascal Siakam.
They re-signed Van Vliet. That was the kind of
right. That was their major signing, and great for them to retain him because he's a benefit to any team. But And OG Anunoby as well too is gonna have to step up this year.
And he could. He's nice.
I think the other teams are just a little bit more talented, and losing those veteran pieces in Ibaka and Gasol are gonna be challenging for them.
Yeah.
I got them at 6. I got the Celtics at 5. They just can't quite get over the hump to me, man. Like I don't love any of the moves they made in the offseason. I think Jason Tatum probably takes another step, probably gets a little bit better. I think Jaylen Brown gets a little bit better. He was really good last year. Kemba's coming off injury and might not start playing until mid-January or so. Marcus Smart is going to do what Marcus Smart does and help them win games.
Okay.
But at that center position, I'm still not sold on anybody that they have yet. Maybe the trade of Hayward allows them to settle into their roles a little bit better.
Right.
But yeah, I don't see them making the jump to championship contention.
What do they just add? You don't think Jeff Teague is going to get them into the playoff?
Playoff league? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. That's not a bad spot. Like five seeds, not horrible.
Not at all.
They're still going to be competitive. They were on the brink of going to the finals, kind of, before they ran to the Heat.
Yeah, the Heat shut that down. Yeah,
real quick. And I think it's kind of a similar situation. I think like Eastern Conference Finals is their ceiling.
Yeah.
Still. I got the Nets at 4. I think despite even if there is a circus off the court, their talent is undeniable with KD, Kyrie, and Karis LeVert is going to be a huge third piece for them. They have other guys as well too that can fill it up. Oh, Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe Harris can shoot the lights out, and Jared Allen also is a good piece for them as well. I think the Nets are going to be a good team. They might have some chemistry issues, but I think they're so talented. They got to be a 4 seed.
Yeah, just depends on how they handle that starting lineup. If they bring Spencer Dinwiddie off the bench, Spencer Dinwiddie off the bench, or if they keep him, rotation. I think bumping him down to the 2. I think a lineup of Kyrie, Dinwiddie, LeVert, KD, and Allen is a nice 1 through 5 right there.
Yeah, that's a good closing lineup for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if they start because you want to bring one of those guys off the bench potentially, right. but that definitely could be a good lineup to close things out. So yeah, I see what you're talking
about. 3, I got the Sixers. I like some of the moves they made, getting Seth Curry, getting Danny Green, although we know how streaky he can be as Laker fans. But when he's hot, he's hot. He shot like 50% from 3 the year before we had him. So he's won 2 straight championships as well too. And
also, like with the Rockets, if they trade Simmons for Harden, they're still there.
I was singing that trade's praises. Like I believe Harden and Embiid would be a perfect 1-2 punch. Running that pick and roll with them too. Like, how do you guard that really? So, regardless of if that trade happens or not, I think the Sixers are going to be a really good team. Doc Rivers has appeared to be a tad fraudulent to NBA watchers now. He's I think he's like he's lost the most games having like 3-1 leads.
Yeah, he's a few 3-1 leads. Yeah, it's not good.
He's still riding off that 2008 championship he won with the Celtics, but after that it's been a kind of up and down with his Clippers tenure. He's got something to prove with the Sixers. He thinks he can fix the chemistry issues and spacing issues with Simmons and Embiid. So I guess I'm going to put a little bit of faith in them and put a little faith in the roster moves they made. And Daryl Morey has made some good executive moves. And it'll be funny if he brings in Harden after just resigning from the Rockets and having Harden. But yeah, I got them at the 3. I got the Heat at 2. And I think they've earned that 2 seed after the way they performed last year. The roster is pretty similar to last year. They lost Jay Crowder, but they brought in Avery Bradley.
Yep.
And you still have Jimmy Buckets. You still have Bam. You still have Hero. You still have Dragic.
Hopefully healthy Dragic now. He was out. Yeah.
Got Duncan Robinson. And some of those guys are going to make some leaps this year, I believe, in Hero and Robinson. So the mentality that team plays with, from executive down. I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with again. And then at that number 1 seed, I got the Bucks as well. They've been a dominant force in the regular season, and I don't see that changing this year either. It's going to be about the playoffs for them, because we know how Giannis has struggled in the playoffs when the game slows down and they force him to be a jump shooter, clog the lane. So we'll have to see if the additions of Drew Holiday potentially takes the load off of Giannis to create and Middleton to create. But I think the Bucks got to be that 1 seed once again this year.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty much right with you. Who'd you have as your 10 seed again?
The Hawks.
Okay. That's where you flip. I have the Bulls at 10, actually.
Okay.
I think Levine and the rise of Kobe White and Laurie and all those guys, I think they step up to at least get into that spot. You get the Magic there, but I think having Jonathan Isaac, I don't know if you mentioned him leaning towards ACL, I believe, in the bubble. That's a big drop off for them.
All lives matter, Isaac.
Yeah, y'all. that guy. I think him being hurt is a big factor for that team, and it's why they'll fall out this year. And this will be the first year they missed the playoffs. They'll fall out to, I guess, 11 or below. And the Bulls will take one of those spots, being in the 10 spot. Above them, I actually have the Wizards right there. While I love Russ, and I think that they're going to be a playoff team, I think they're going to be a playoff team because they get into this little playoff and steal it from another squad. So I think Russ and the rise alongside Bradley Beal and Denny and Rui, all those guys you mentioned, are a solid fit. But I think all the teams above them still present a bigger threat than they do. So I have them there. And then actually in the 8th spot, right above them is the Hawks. I think the Hawks actually do step up with the team that they put together. I think that they have.
Wait, so you said Bulls, Magic, Wizard.
No, I said the Magic fall out. The Magic.
Magic fall out. Okay.
Yeah. So it's Bulls, Wizards, Hawks.
Okay.
Hawks at 8 right now. I think Trae Young steps up again. Now alongside having the help around him that he needs to really make a strong playoff push. I think he at least gets to the game, at least to play, and the Wizards might upset them. Who knows? We'll see if we get there. But I think that Trae Young and all those guys that they have put together around him could do big things this year, and I'm rooting for them. So I have the Hawks there at 8. Then the Pacers at 7, I think you mentioned as well. Yep. The Raptors at 6, which I think you also said. Yep. Then the Celtics at 5, Nets at 4, Sixers at 3, Heat at 2, Bucks at 1.
Yep.
The same thing, just a little switch up at the bottom. And yeah, again, when it seems that obvious, it makes you nervous. Sure, the Nets might jump up a little bit higher. The Heat maybe can fall off a little bit. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe they stay in that sleeper range and in that 5 spot and just continue makes another run from there. Who knows? But yeah, there's a lot of room there. Celtics, maybe they actually do mesh and make things happen. We'll see. But yeah, that's how I have my playoff predictions, and they'll let us know what yours look like as well. So we are. It's going to be a fun season. It's going to be a quick season, and a lot could happen in a whole other different kind of ways. So we shall see how it goes. But those are our playoff predictions. We're back right now to talk about our award predictions, and please let us know what you guys think. So any other teams you want to note that might could still spot on either side or anything you mentioned?
At the East, you had the Bulls as your 10, right?
Yeah,
I got them at 12. I love Levine. I love Laurie, even though he struggled to stay healthy.
Kobe is nice roots also. I like Kobe.
Kobe is nice. He is nice. I think that team's going to struggle defensively a lot, though.
I think that's where Billy Donovan could help. I think what we saw in OKC and how obviously they had vets there that obviously made a big impact, but there was coaching that made a big impact as well. I think Billy Donovan could help these young guys and get them in the spots they need to be to at least get top 10 as I have them.
Mm-hmm. And then, I had the Hornets at 11, right outside the cusp there. And similar thing, I think their defense isn't going to be too hot. They might be a fun, exciting team offensively, but teams are going to put up points on them. And I don't really see any of those teams sneaking into the playoffs.
Got you. But still, it's all going to be fun to watch. So definitely stay for all of that. And that's all for our playoff predictions. So